Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and today I am joined yet again with Tyler Moss. Not actually yet again, because you're probably watching this in a reverse order, 360 reverse, but me and Tyler today are doing a zero running back versus zero wide receiver mock draft. Now, you might be wondering, hey, Nick, what's zero running back? What's zero wide receiver? Now, I've done videos on these both, but like I said, I'm going to explain it right here. So I am doing the zero running back part of the video, which pretty much means that I'm not going to be taking a running back for the first 4 or 5 rounds. Tyler, now you can explain what zero wide receiver is.
Yeah, apparently what I'll be doing for this video is attempting to rob a bank. Yeah, I look fucking rough as hell right now. I know, white cap. Yeah, I look like the perfect criminal. I'm going to be doing zero wide receivers. So basically, I'm going to be muting the button of wide receivers for a long time, and I'm going to do it legit. I'm a person that will do it legit. You're going to see zero wide receiver at its best here because I'm going to be doing it. Let's go.
Let's go. So now you can just pick your draft slot. I'm going to go ahead and pick towards the back of the drafts because I want 10. Because I think, honestly, the zero running back strategy really only works towards the back of the draft. You can pick whatever you want. I'm not randomizing shit. So what pick would you like?
I have no idea.
Just going to click move slot.
Oh, now I see. Now, all right. Well, I'm a back of the draft kind of man. I am. I'm gonna go the sniper. I'm gonna go at 8. We'll go at 8. So not sniping.
Okay. All right, so Tyler's at 8. Did you click on it?
I did, Dad.
Okay, well, it hasn't moved on my screen, but we're going to start the draft. Tyler at 8, me at 10. Will it work? Who really knows? So let's get right into it. So obviously we are drafting up against the El Computador, as they say in Spain. So we are going to be just having a nice draft against the computer, talking about every single pick, and just having an overall great day. So Tyler is at 8, and I am at pick number 10. The first, 5 picks of the draft are literally like an insta-lock. The draft starts in 10 seconds. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Thomas, and then probably Derrick Henry or Alvin Kamara. That's just a lock. It's what happens every single draft. But that does not really matter too much because everyone already knows that. The first picks of the draft were Christian McCaffrey, then Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, and then Derrick Henry. So now, Tyler, it is your choice. You're doing the zero wide receiver strategy, the robust running back. What are you going to be doing here?
Robust. Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to take a guy who may be good in the kitchen. He ain't no cook, but he's always mixing. I'm going to go Joe Mixon. What the fuck was that? I'm going to go Joe Mixon here with my pick. Let's start off the zero wide receiver strat correctly. Joe Mixon, welcome to the squad.
Love that. I love Joseph Mixon. So after Mixon, we see Miles Sanders. Kind of a reach for me. I know Tyler likes Miles Sanders at the 109, but now it is my pick, and I'm doing the zero running back. So we have to go ahead and select a wide receiver since the best, quote-unquote, the biggest crybaby in fantasy football and real NFL, Michael Thomas, has been taken. To me, it's an easy pick here. Davante Adams. You can argue he's the best wide receiver in fantasy football. Last year, he kind of struggled due to the fact that he got hurt. But if he didn't get hurt, he would have looked good, even though I think that they're going to try to run the ball a lot. Aaron Rodgers doesn't give a fuck. When Davante Adams is healthy, he's going to feed the guy. So to me, that's a pretty easy pick, especially for this situation. Normally, though, I would have picked a guy like Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, Kenyon Drake, any of those running backs that I think will actually do something, instead of going with the 2 wide receivers in a row, which to me is kind of crazy, but we'll see how the team ends up. So after I picked Adams, Eckler came off the board, followed by Hopkins, Julio, and Tyreek. So the 2 teams behind me, or one of the teams behind me, actually used the strategy I am going to be using, which is going to make it much harder for me to succeed doing it. So now I'm going to go ahead and select another wide receiver here with Mr. Chris Godwin. To me, is the best wide receiver on the board. The guys still available are Robinson, Galladay, Evans, Juju, DJ Moore. To me, there's a clear, evident guy here, and that's Chris Godwin for me. So Tyler, would you have picked anyone different than Chris Godwin?
Yeah, so my strategy when I do go wide receivers is I run a big 6. Big 8. I'm sorry. So if one of the guys in my big 8 are there at a good value, I roll with it. That includes obviously your top 4, you're obvious. Hopkins, Julio, Tyreek, Adams, and Thomas, top 5. I'm a dumbass. Then Godwin and Galladay and Evans wrap that up. So when I get one of those 8, I'm very comfortable with it. You go Godwin here, I'm plenty okay with that.
Okay, that's what I'm going for there. I like him a bit more than Galladay, who I also really like a lot. So now, after I made my pick, I'll just read off the draft board, and then Tyler will make his pick. So after I'm with Godwin, Kenyon Drake got picked, and now it's just not showing me who else got picked. So Tyler, it's your turn to make your pick.
That's because I'm the pick in between you and the Kenyon Drake pick. And the person who did take Kenyon Drake, I'm going to Kenyon fuck you over. This is ridiculous. Here's something I do want to try. I think there's been a lot of buzz about anti-Nick Chubb right now. I don't think I want to roll with him. I think it's when you kind of look at it, there's a lot of volatility in that situation. Nick Chubb is competing with Kareem Hunt for touches, and it's just a rough situation. I think I want to go with the safer kind of option. There really is zero number 2 kind of guy. And yeah, there won't be a lot of passing work, but the rushing volume is so fantastic for him. And it's just not a guy I have in a lot of leagues. So I'm going to go Josh Jacobs here. I think the value is really good for him at the 205. That's good for me. And great second running back for myself. And now I'm back on the clock, baby. That's how we do it.
That is how you do it. So I would honestly argue that I like Nick Chubb slightly more, but I wouldn't really actually have an argument about it because I think they're both going to be like they're in the same tier of running back. So after Tyler went with Josh Jacobs, shout out to Stevie 2 Chain, Stevie 1 Chain. So Aaron Jones follow after he chose Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, Allen Robinson, DJ Moore, Kenny Golladay, Travis Kelce, Lamar Jackson, George Kittle, Mike Evans, Pat Mahomes, Juju, CH, Adam Thielen, and Cooper Kupp. Every single draft I've done on literally any fucking site, Lamar and Mahomes go in the second and third round, and then Kelce and Kittle do the exact same thing. They always go right next to each other. I don't know why that is. I don't understand why anyone's drafting a quarterback in the first 3 rounds, but, let them be. So, Tyler, it is your pick now of the 0 wide receiver strategy.
Yeah, so I'm going to continue the trend, obviously. I'm not a coward. I'm going to keep it going. A guy who's, when he's played more than 8 games, he's reached 1,000 yards. He's been in the in the league for 3 years. I'm going to sneeze. Never mind, I'm not. So, yeah, and then he got 76 receptions last year under Gardner Minshew in his first year. It's Leonard Fournette. Yeah, I understand the risk of taking Fournette, and I know I'm going to cover that later when I get a guy like Armstead if I can. So I'm going to take Fournette here. Very, very comfortable with him as my 3rd running back. I think that's a fantastic call to me.
I like that pick as well. I would not argue against that. So obviously Tyler went with Leonard Fournette, and then Amari Cooper came off the board. To me, I mean, I don't really like fucking Amari Cooper at all, even in the 3rd round. I just don't think that's a good pick, but it's my pick. We're continuing on the 0 running back train, which right now, if I was doing this realistically, I would fucking jump off the cliff and just draft like Le'Veon Bell and then draft Jonathan Taylor for like some upside. But obviously, I'm stuck on the train.
Marky Mark, baby.
Has no stops. That's exactly who we're going with. We're going with Mark Andrews of the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, Lamar Jackson's he's a running back, but he also throws the ball sometimes. And when he throws the ball, he looks for Mark Andrews. So that's obviously going to be key to their success. Mm-hmm. And even though the guy does have type 1 diabetes, and apparently that hurts you if you have during this kind of like you might not want to play. No, I'm being honest with you. It puts you in actual more danger. So, stranger danger. Be careful, Mark Andrews. But you're coming on to my team right here with my 3rd pick. And then I am back up again after I went with Mark Andrews. Zach Ertz came out the board, followed by Todd Gurley, which is a god-awful pick, followed by another god-awful pick of Odell Beckham Jr., and then Chris Carson. So now we're hopping back onto the wide receiver train because, like I said, we're doing this for real. And I'm going to go with Robert Woods, wide receiver of the LA Rams. I really like his high upside. He started to ball out last year after they committed to the 2 tight end set. I still like Cooper Kupp, but I think Robert Woods has a whole lot of upside as my flex play. Tyler, would you have went with anyone else here, or do you think Woods is the pick?
No, I'm good with it. Robert Woods, Calvin Ridley's up there as well. I think when you have a lot of those safe receivers, I think you can be a little daring. You can go with a guy like A.J. Brown, but I have zero problem playing with a very, very safe floor. How many flex spots we have? He's definitely going in there.
Uno flex spot, and he's flying into there.
All righty. Well, yeah, with this, so Nick kind of completed his kind of starting lineup when it comes to the wide receivers. I think at that point, that's when you're running back in your all wide receiver. That's when that stretch ends. When you feel obviously the position that they play and you fill the flex spots, that's when your no wide receiver strategy or no running back strategy kind of ends. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue my train because I'm just a madman who is probably doing a line of coke before we start videos every time. But who knows? That's my business. I'm going to go with a guy named Jonathan Taylor. I think he's fantastic. I back him. Listen, my running back position is locked down right now, so I don't need Jonathan Taylor to be effective in the first couple of games. But this is a guy who will be. Listen, he's going to have a lot of a ton of consecutive 1,000-yard rushing seasons with the Colts. They've got, in my opinion, is the number 1 offensive line. You can get those offensive line rankings in Nick's draft guide. Let's go check that out down below. Bam, we killed it. We got a little plug there. I just think he's going to be really, really good. He's got a great line to work with. He's going to get receiving work because there's not too many options there. He's just a really great player, and he's going to be really great to be on my bench. That's right. That's what happens when you go running back early. You get great players on your bench.
Yeah, especially with Tyler's been snorting a lot of that booger sugar. If you guys have enjoyed the video thus far, please make sure to click that subscribe button down below. And also, I actually don't hate Tyler's strategy. Obviously, Tyler's doing the zero wide receiver strategy. And I wouldn't argue against going a fourth running back, especially if one of these guys ends up being completely shit. Like, what if
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette gets hurt? Then Jonathan Taylor, you fly him straight in your lineup, and he's a god. And if not, you can just go ahead and trade one of these guys or just keep all four of them. So after Tyler went with my main man, JT, AJ Brown came out the board, followed by Calvin Ridley, Decaf Metcalf, Le'Veon Bell, DJ Chark, David Johnson, Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton, Tyler Lockett, James Conner, Darren Waller, T.Y. Hilton, Terry McLaurin, and my main man, Tyler Boyd in the 5th round. That's pretty early for him, but I like that, just like Kirk Cousins. So what are you thinking here?
Yeah, bet you don't know about Dre, bet you don't know about Tyler. Yeah, I have a little rap reference. Maybe that's right. I don't know. But I'm going to go with a guy who has a fantastic start of the season, a guy who always will get volume for some weird reason. And in redraft, I feel comfortable going with him. Basically, he's going to be what Jonathan Taylor won't be at the beginning of the season, and then Jonathan Taylor will be what he won't be at the end of the season. I'm going to go with Mark Ingram here. It sounds crazy. His schedule is so caked to start the season, and I want to take advantage of that and start my season off right and maybe convince my league mates, hey, can we add another flex spot because my team is loaded.
All right, so I don't agree with Tyler picking a running back there. That's fucking crazy, but, it is what
I'm
it
crazy,
is.
baby.
So after Mark Ingram, Deshaun Watson came off the board. So now I've done the 4 rounds in a row. I could go for a 5th and draft a quarterback, but I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that that's a good idea. I don't think that that's what you should do. We've got the whole lineup filled out besides the running backs and the quarterbacks. So I will argue here that I can go a running back, and I'm going to go ahead and get my main man, David Montgomery. I'm going to get the counselor's main boy, David Montgomery. This guy's going to be a fucking beast this season, even though I don't necessarily believe that he's going to be a top 10 running back. I do think that he's a safer guy back here who definitely has some upside given Matt Nagy puts that visor on correctly, takes it out of his ass, and decides to actually learn to give the ball to David Montgomery. And I think if 9-inch Nick Foles is starting as the quarterback, that will make the team just flow better. And I think that David Montgomery will have a higher chance of playing better in that scenario. So we're going to go ahead and get my boy David Montgomery. So after I went with David Montgomery, we see Mr. Dickie Dak Prescott, the guy who decides to not get a contract because Jerry Jones is a certified dumbass. After Dak, we see Devin Singletary, which is also a terrible pick, in my opinion, followed by Russell Wilson. And then another garbage pick of Devontae Parker. Even though we're both Dolphins fans, personally, I don't think Devontae Parker will have a great year. Tyler, what do you think about him real quick?
Balk him. That's what I think. Mike Gesicki, baby. That's the real legend. Real legends. That's a brand here in Florida. It's for kids who fish. That's weird as fuck. All right, we'll move on.
All right, so speaking of kids who fish, shout out to my boy Karate Kick Kareem Hunt, because that is who we are picking here. Kareem Hunt is going to be so fucking safe this year. It's unreal. He could literally be the wide receiver 3 on the team. If Jarvis doesn't actually end up missing the first game, I could see him playing the slot early in the season, and that would really boost up his point total. And he's a guy who you can obviously just lay into the running back 2 spot every single game and just be like, hey, this guy's going to give me like 10 points. And if Chubb was to go down, he has literally top 5 upside. We've seen Kareem do that in the past when he was on the Chiefs. So we're going to go with Kareem Hunt here. I think that is clearly the best pick. The other guys on the board were DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers. You're taking kind of higher upside kind of picks here. I do like James White, though, but I think the 6th round might be a little too early for that. So we're going to get Kareem Hunt. So what do you think about Mr. Kareem?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think James White probably is the better kind of handcuff. I don't fucking know, but I know Kareem Hunt was outpacing Chubb in 4 of the 6 games that they played together last year, and there's just nerves when it comes to Nick Chubb, but there isn't for Kareem Hunt as probably the best handcuff in football. It's a fantastic pick. I'm not going to argue it. So I can either continue my on heroin kind of attack here in my draft and just grab another running back. I really want to, but I think he's going to come back to me on the turn. So I'm going to go ahead and take a guy who I think is always a safe play. He's always a safe play, and he's always way late in the drafts, and I never really understand it. I'm going to go ahead and take my first wide receiver, and I'm going to take Julian Edelman. Listen, he's going to get targets, and I don't know where my little mouse thing is, so there we go. He always is going to get volume. He will. He's just kind of demands it, and Cam Newton, that's going to be the guy he goes to. And N'Keal Harry is another guy that's going to get targets, and New maybe a little bit too. But Edelman is always the safe option. He always finds himself as a back-end wide receiver 1, high wide receiver 2. He's always sitting in the 6th round. So I'm like, let's take advantage of it. I'm ready to go. And I have to grab this guy before he's not available for me, which means I have to let go of James White, which is unfortunate. but I got to take my second wide receiver. I'm going to take Marvin Jones. Listen, another guy who's very back into the draft all the time, but he always finds himself in a way to get to a wide receiver 2 position. And you're looking for a wide receiver 2. He's my second wide receiver. I'm good with that. I got the running backs that are going to be carrying the squad. And now I'm going to get Marvin Jones and Julian Edelman, and it's an old, but it's veteran, and they're going to get shit done, and I'm very excited to get Marvin Jones here. Locking up my receiver position. That's how it's done when you do this strategy. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter, whatever the fuck I'm at.
All right, so if we look back after Tyler picked Julian Edelman, notice how something happens. Hunter Henry, Kyler Murray, Evan Ingram, Raheem Mostert, and then Jarvis, Garbage Ass, AJ Green, Hollywood Brown, Michael Gallup, Josh Allen, Brandon Cooks, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady, Debo, Drew Brees. 4 quarterbacks go within 6 picks. Don't be that guy. Tyler wasn't that guy. He didn't hop on the run. He didn't see some quarterbacks go. He didn't shit his pants. He just said, you know what, let me go ahead and get my wide receiver. Let me not reach up for a quarterback, and that's a great move. I personally don't like getting a quarterback until later in the draft, but, whatever floats your boat, if there's value there, you can go ahead and get it. So now it is my pick after Tyler went with Marvin Jones, then the computer went with Will Fuller. So now we're going to have to go ahead and attack yet again the running back position. We're going to get the guy I talked about earlier, James White. Tyler likes him as well. I really think with Cam Newton starting as the quarterback, we could see a dominant year out of James White. And I also think that he's a guy that I want on all my teams because I know I can throw him into the flex spot pretty much every single week. He's been a top 20 running back 2 years in a row. 2 years ago, he was a top 10 running back. I believe he finished as running back number 7 in PPR. Even without Tom Brady, I think there's going to be design plays to get James White the ball. And Cam Newton probably doesn't want to get fucking laid out, so he's probably going to try to dump the ball off as much as possible to Jimenez White. So what do you think about James White real quick? I know you talked about it a little, but talk about it.
Hurts me like a dagger. I knew you were going to do it. You got to kind of watch your league mates. See, that's the thing, though. If that wide receiver run didn't happen, maybe a running back run didn't happen, I was fairly comfortable with kind of going with a James White type or something along that lines. But I had to get my second wide receiver. You got to kind of watch your league mates. What do they need? You gotta be following that just as much as what you need. It's going to make you a better drafter, and it's going to make your team look a lot better. You can predict those kind of things. So I had to go Marvin Jones as me. I had to let James White go through the cracks. But guess what? Marvin Jones was not going to be here at all. And I felt it was a good move, and I felt it was a really good move on your end as well. So I'll let you get your next pick.
Thank you very much. So after I went with James White, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Jamison Crowder, DeAndre Swift. Real quick, me and Tyler are Dolphins fans, but I don't understand this Jamison Crowder hype at all. Why is Jamison Crowder going in the fucking 8th round? Why? Because he got a zillion targets last year from the mono man? No, that's not going to fucking happen again. I just really don't believe it does. What's your take on Jamison Crowder real quick?
Yeah, no. Did I do it? Wait, hold up. Let's stop. I'll stop being like this. Jamison Crowder. Okay, let's kind of look at him as a player, right? So the first thing I want to start with is who does he play for?
Jets.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, yeah, that's all I needed. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It's very simple. You just don't want, unless you're taking him in like the 10th plus round.
Yeah.
Don't fucking do it. Don't take a guy who you're hoping for upside with in the 8th round who doesn't even have that high of upside because fucking dumbass Adam Gase is the head coach of the team. So now it's my pick again. I have 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. And you know what that means? It's running bike time again. And I'm going to go ahead and actually not go with my main man here, who to me would have been a lock to go with Cam Akers. But I want to go with the pick who I believe is also high upside. I know Tyler probably doesn't like this pick at all. I'm going to go with my main man, Ronald Jones. The buddy's getting buff, buddy's getting huge, and he's coming in for a big season with Tampa Bay Tom Brady. So we're going to go ahead and lock in Rojo here. This is a big dick maneuver. I really do believe that his value is going to go through the roof. This guy's going to tear it up this year. I will always believe in Ronald Jones for some weird reason. Shout out to Peyton Barber, though. Have fun in Washington. So I'm going to go with Rojo here. I know Tyler dislikes the pick, so you can bring up why you dislike it.
Yeah, I'm just going to take Keyshawn Vaughn, and then you're going to be fucked because I'm going to have the real starter in Tampa. But, hey, I won't bully you too long.
It's the 8th round.
Sure. You could have picked a guy with upside. Anyways, get bodied. I'm just kidding. I love you, Nick, and I love your decisions. They're your decisions, though. They aren't mine. So I'm going to go ahead and make my next pick in the draft. And listen, I got 2 wide receivers, and Tyler would alpha and go and grab a 3rd one. However, there's been a lot of runs on wide receivers. And grab another running back. That's how I'd be alpha. Don't worry about it. Skip that. But I got to grab my 3rd one right here just to play it safe. And I'm going to take a guy with a good amount of upside in Darius Slayton. I'm going to pray that a running back falls in my lap, and he does. Fantastic. This is why we draft, baby. J.K. Dobbins in my lap. Now I get Mark Ingram, and I get J.K. So now I get that big combo. It's fantastic when Mark Ingram goes down or is basically eventually replaced by JK. I have that backup option. It's fantastic for my team. My depth looks phenomenal. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it's the 1-2 Mayweather of a running back combo. You got Mark Ingram, and then you got J.K. Dobbins in case Mark Ingram decides to break his leg scoring a zillion touchdowns. So a quick recap. I'm not going to actually talk about all the players here, but I did want to bring up one player, and that is the 49ers defense. Do not draft the defense in the 9th round. That's really all I have to say. I just don't believe that it's worth it. And I also am very much questioning Team 9's decision-making because they have 2 running backs, and they have a zillion wide receivers, and none of which are actually really that good, considering they drafted fucking Emmanuel Sanders, Jerry Jeudy, and Stephon Diggs. So kind of questionable. And they have Amari Cooper. So it's a very questionable decision-making from me. But now we can probably go ahead and snag a wide receiver that I actually am really starting to buy into. I know it might sound weird, but it's Mr. Mike Williams. Mike Williams, in his last 2 years, has done what makes no sense. One season, he's getting 1,000 yards. The other season, he's scoring 10 touchdowns. Just combine them together. Maybe get 900 yards and 9 touchdowns, and you're a better season. Now, limp dick fucking Phillip Rivers, his dick is probably limp because he has so many children, and he's just having too much sex. Congrats on the sex to Phillip Rivers. But I think that hopefully Ty God Taylor is throwing the ball good there. Justin Herbert. Either way, I think Mike Williams has the potential to really be that guy there. And as my wide receiver 4 kind of guy I'm just taking later with some upside, I don't necessarily hate that, considering I think the guy is a big-bodied guy who can score a lot of touchdowns, especially when his teammate Hunter Henry just can't really stay healthy for the whole season. I'd peg him as like a 11 game player. So now I've selected Mike Williams. So now you are on to your pick. Just kidding. It's my pick again. After I'm with Mike Williams, our boy Jordan Howard came out the board, followed by Mecole Hardman, Tyler Higbee, and Jalen Reagor. I probably should have taken Mecole Hardman, but I didn't even notice him being there because Fantasy Pros had him a bit buried down there. So now we're going to go ahead and attack the running back position yet again, and we're going to snag Tevin Coleman, falling late into the draft. So if I'm going to be honest with you, no fucking idea what's going to happen there. They still haven't even moved Mostert. How the hell you say his name? So I don't know what's going to happen there. If Mostert doesn't get traded, then Tevin Coleman's a fucking bust of a pick here. If he does get traded, Tevin Coleman's a good pick here. So that's why you try to draft closer to the NFL season starting. But right now, I think Tevin Coleman is a solid pick in the 10th round. I do think Jerick McKinnon will be involved. It will be a running back by committee, like you read about in the dictionary. You type that shit in, and you see Kyle Shanahan's dumb face on the dictionary with him choking away 2 Super Bowls. Shout out to him, and shout out to Tevin Coleman, former Falcon, formal Super Bowl choker.
Fair enough. Yeah, the only thing I feel where maybe I don't want to go with Coleman is there was a report released today, the 21st. Yeah, the 21st of today. July. Thank you. Month. Thank you. That was saying basically, listen, the Burrito situation, not Burrito, the Mostert situation was they kind of talked about it. They kind of fixed it up. He still wants a contract. Obviously, if they don't want to give him a contract, they will ship him. But the relationship kind of turned from being sour to a little bit better than it was. So that's why I'm still a little reserved on taking Coleman, but I don't mind it because Burrito's gone, so there's still value in him. I feel like I've got to cover a position, and since you took my pick, I was actually going to go with Coleman. I'm going to go ahead and stab you in the heart and take a guy who I knew you probably weren't even thinking about, and you're going to kick yourself now. Actually, no, you don't. You already grabbed your tight end. I'm going to go Hayden Hurst for my first tight end play. Good fill on my lineup. Oh, and it says a value pick there. Thanks, Fantasy Pros. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, Hayden Hurst's value, literally, he's going to be like a 7th-round pick come August, I think, because the hype is just too real on the guy. I love him, though. So what are you thinking about here with your 11th pick?
Yeah, so obviously, I got to touch up wide receiver a little bit. When I kind of look at that, though, I'm looking at a lot of Jets receivers, a lot of past Jets receivers, and it hurts my heart, and I don't know if I want to do that. But one thing I will do is prey on a TY injury as I go with – oh, wait, actually, no, I need a quarterback. Let's look at the quarterback. Let's go mosey to the quarterback. Value falling, Carson Wentz. About to be another good pick via Fantasy Pros. He is on the squad, baby. And a steal, says Fantasy Pros. That's what it's about.
Shout out to the steal of Carson Wentz, just like what never mind. That was going to be a funny joke there, but I decided to reserve myself. Pull it back like a bow and shoot it. So now it's my turn to pick a quarterback, and I'm going to go with a bit of a big dick play here. I thought Tyler was going to be smart He drafted Marvin Jones, and he could have gotten the stack of Marvin Jones and Matt Stafford, but instead he decided to take an injury-prone player, so it makes a lot of sense. So we're going to go ahead and get another injury-prone player
Yeah,
the
fuck
last
you.
couple of years in Matty Snapback, Matty Broken Back, because he carries the fucking Detroit Lions offense and has been for his whole year, his whole fucking career. He was so good that Megatron decided to retire because he was tired of that shit as well. Matthew Stafford continues to play, continues to ball out, was on MVP pace last season, was looking like a fucking god. And I'm going to draft him again this year. I'm going to buy back into it. I do think you might want to be more reserved if you draft Matthew Stafford. And I never draft 2 quarterbacks, but you might want to just because the guy's back is fucked up. But with that said, I probably won't do it in this mock, but that's something you could obviously do. I already have 1 tight end in Mark Andrews who I'm super confident in, so I won't be drafting another tight end. I just don't see a reason in doing that. I typically only draft 1 quarterback and 1 tight end. But now it's time to go for yet another high upside pick late in the draft. We've got a bunch of running backs. We got a bunch of wide receivers. But I want to go ahead and get a guy that I actually really like a lot, and that is going to be my main man, Brandon Ayuk, because I think that Deebo Samuel is going to miss a couple of games. And I think that Ayuk can cement his place there. I am scared that they are very run heavy. That is obviously something worrisome about the 49ers, but Deebo Samuel did it last year, and I think Ayuk can do it this season for the first couple of games. Maybe he's a guy that goes on fire. He plays a couple great games, and you just ship his ass off before Deebo can even make it back onto the field. So I like Brandon Ayuk here late in drafts. What do you think about Ayuk real quick before you make your pick?
Yeah, I think Deebo I feel like he's gonna miss like 1 game, and
No.
I
See, I
don't
don't know. I'm not a fucking doctor. I mean, maybe
it's not going to be more than 4. I'll say that. But you know, you're playing with it. It's still a run heavy team, and that's why I'm not really even all that high into Debo. But I'm gonna take shit. I'll just be biased as fuck and just take another guy who isn't on a run heavy team, but just say fuck it, and hope that he turns out to be the kind of core receiver. He's a senior out of USC. The guy was really, really good in college, a veteran leader. He almost doesn't need as much seasoning as maybe some of the younger pups that come through the draft. And Ty getting hurt all the time, I think it's a very, very safe kind of play while not being safe because it's a rookie. I get it. Michael Pittman, I think Philip Rivers has a lot to build with in regards to in regards to kind of rapport with wide receivers, right? Yeah, so why not be Pittman? That's just kind of was my mindset. Now I have to grab a guy because this is what happens. If you're going to grab Fournette, you can't go too long without grabbing a right ball. You can't let him fall. You can't hope, oh, okay, he'll be there in the next round. You can't pray for that. You got to grab him now. It's a handcuff. It's almost vital to grab. If you're going to go with Fournette, you got to get Armstead in some way or fashion. You got to do it. And with my last bench spot, I'm going to have to address it and get Reichwell for the stack.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't hate that. Now, what is your thoughts now that preseason is canceled? Do you believe that the rookie wide receivers will really be able to get that rapport with their quarterback? Because we both took rookie wide receivers in the 12th round. So what are your thoughts about that?
My only thing is, yes, I get that. The running backs I think will be fine. Listen, they're just getting the ball handed off to them. That rapport is actually a lot quicker. The things I'm kind of more worried about is center to quarterback. Teams with new centers is going to be a little bit of an issue. Don't at me. I used to play center. You got to build a little bit of connection there. You know, how hard, how firm you're getting the ball back to your quarterback, you know, where he's at, how tall he is, that actually matters. To the things that no one ever takes into consideration. But teams like the Cowboys have a new center. There may be a little learning curve there between the two. But that's something you got to consider. Running backs are good, but wide receivers are important. Now, the only reason I was comfortable taking Pittman is, listen, all the receivers in that backfield in the receiver core is going to have to work with the new quarterback in Philip Rivers. Or if it's Brissett, I guess, you know, there's some kind of rapport still built. But T.Y. Hilton has missed a lot of games in the past year, so it's like, can we really count on T.Y. and a Brissett kind of thing? And then Eason's there too, so you got a lot of new quarterbacks there, and there's not really a chance that there's already built rapport. So I'm kind of good going with a rookie and taking my shot at it.
No, I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm just saying I think I am a bit more scared now due to the fact that there's no preseason. But obviously you picked Rock Armstead, but I want to go ahead and be a bit of a dick here. Bit of a I don't even know I fucking forgot what his name is. What's the other Jacksonville running back's name? The guy they just brought in who's from Washington. His name's escaping me.
Chris Thompson.
Chris Thompson. I actually do like that pick. I don't think he'll do anything unless Fournette gets hurt, though. But I do think Thompson is a good pick. I have no idea where he is, though. That's going to be a problem. Chris Thompson, where is he? Am I dense? Where the fuck is he? Oh, he's right here. Running back 62. I like this pick, actually. I think he has high upside. He's a guy that in Washington actually played quite well in
Yeah,
multiple seasons. So
when he
he's a
was
guy
healthy.
that, yeah, when he's healthy, he's good. So after Chris Thompson, Hunter Renfrow came at the board, followed by Damian Harris, who I don't understand why anyone's buying into him again. Buffalo Bills, Saints, and now I'm going to go ahead and get my defense or my kicker. You can go really either or. But I'm going to go ahead and get the kicker one in my main man, Justin Tucker the fucker. I actually don't even have a preference between Tucker and Harrison Butker. I think they're both going to be great, but I've had Tucker for multiple seasons in a row. He's been a guy that helps me because I'm going to be honest with you, in some leagues I have reached for kicker in like the 13th round, which isn't even really a reach. But if people aren't taking him and you can go ahead and get that safety net where you don't even have to cut the guy every single week, because obviously that's something that I actually preach to do, but it is fucking annoying when you can just have Justin Tucker in the 13th round. So I'm going to snag Tucker here in the 14th round. So what are you thinking here?
Yeah, again, I'm going to do the strategy you did imply was take kickers and defenses and then drop them, week by week. And I'm going to go with the Chargers here. You get Joe Burrow week 1. They got a really, really good cornerback crew. They get guys that chase after the quarterback. Week 1 for Joe Burrow, good luck. And I'm going to take a lot of picks, and hopefully one gets to the house because that's a really good pick for me.
All righty. Don't hate that.
Don't hate it. You can't hate it. Can't hate the game.
Don't
you
hate it because actually that's who I would have picked if I didn't pick a kicker. So.
All right, so now I'm going to go to kicker. Geez, there you go. My kicker number 1, not number 1. My kicker 2 and 3 are both sitting on the board. Actually, my kicker 1 and 3. My apologies. Good math. Kicker rankings are on the draft guide. Go check that out. But yeah, my kicker rankings I do take a lot seriously. I take in a lot of volume. I take in red zone efficiencies. I care about kicker rankings. No one else does. I'm there for you, baby. So I'm going to go with my kicker numero uno, a guy now that Watson does not have DeAndre Hopkins. The red zone efficiency is going even further down than what it already was. I'm going to go Fairbairn here. Zane Gonzalez was my 3. He is going to be a guy who will be fairly efficient as well. But the only thing is the amount of field goals and attempts he had last year are going to go down. They were so high last year. But now that, Murray actually has good receiving options and the team kind of has another year under the belt, and Kingsbury can be a little bit more aggressive, I think he's going to see a lot less field goal attempts. And I'm going to go with Fairbairn here for the win. Look at my team. It's fantastic.
All right, so my final pick, we're going defense. I'm going to stay with Tyler's strategy here. I'm going to go with the defense going up against the Washington to-be-named team. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing up against them. Now, I actually think that Haskins has improved, but I wouldn't be surprised if he falters in the first game, obviously, since there's no preseason, none of that. So I think that might actually help the Eagles' defense. I don't think the Eagles have the best defense in the NFL, but hey, hopefully they're able to stop Mr. Dwayne Trashcan Haskins. So that completes our draft, but I do want to recap our teams real quick and talk about it. Talk about how you felt. So Tyler, recap your team first and tell me how you feel about the 0 wide receiver strategy overall.
Fantastic. It's a strategy I run all the time. I always go heavy running back. It's just my thing to do. I have the best bench score in Fantasy Pros. I think this is something that you're going to find with going with this strategy. Listen, you're going to see that teams need running backs, and they need them early when guys go down. They need them when guys start looking inefficient. Running backs are always a position that there's never enough of. Where wide receivers, you're always going to find someone growing in the ranks that you can pick off the waivers. You have a lot of running backs. You have guys that you can kind of go, here you go. Here you want this guy, pay up. You can get a little bit more value than you actually draft them at. I very much back it. I think it's a very, very great strategy. You're taking advantage of the market and you're soaking it up on your team, and you're hoping that people just give you really shit trades, because I think you'll see that. Very efficient strategy.
All right, so would you like to read off your team here before we close it out? And then I'll read off mine.
Okay, yeah. So Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Leonard Fournette, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Ingram. So 5 running backs to start. Had to do it to him. Had to go 3 straight wide receivers after, though, because obviously you're sitting a lot thin. You got Edelman, Marvin Jones, and Darius Slayton. These are all guys who have proven it in the past. And then Darius Slayton kind of as the young buck that I'm hoping pans out. You get J.K. Dobbins as a perfect handcuff for Mark Ingram. You get Raquel Armstead a little later in the draft as another good handcuff. In between those picks, you got Hayden Hurst as your starting tight end, Carson Wentz as your starting quarterback. You got Michael Pittman, too, another kind of upside play. If it works out, great. And then you close it out with the Chargers and your kicker, Ka'imi Fairbairn. So I back what I did. I thought I did good. Fantasy Pros doesn't.
All right. Yeah, no, your team is very good. So now I'm going to talk about my strategy. This is the zero running back strategy. This is a draft strategy that I don't actually really like all that much, but you can win using any fucking strategy. You can draft a quarterback in the first round and still end up winning, but obviously it might take a little bit more luck. This is more of kind of a safety pick when you go zero wide receiver or zero running back, I should say, because you're getting the safe guys with the wide receivers and not risking it with the running backs, even though I think that's kind of a false narrative. So my team, my starting quarterback is Matthew Stafford. My two running backs are David Montgomery and Kareem Hunt, obviously, because I went wide receiver heavy early. Devontae Adams and Chris Godwin are my starting wide receivers. My flex is Robert Woods. My tight end is Mark Andrews. And then my bench is comprised of James White, Ronald Jones, Mike Williams, Tevin Coleman, Brandon Ayuk, and Chris Thompson. Overall, I don't really love this strategy, but I could see myself using it in certain situations where the wide receivers fall to me, where I get maybe Devontae Adams and Julio on the same team. I would actually like that way more than getting Chris Godwin, but hey, that's just my opinion. I think that you shouldn't go into the draft thinking you want to go zero running back, zero wide receiver with any strategy at all, to be honest with you. That's very important because then you're going to put yourself in a fucking box. Shout out to Roddy Rich. I hope you guys enjoyed. Tyler, any closing remarks?
Tyler Moss NFL. Find me, baby. Great
All right.
tweet.
Find him on Twitter. Check him out. Have a great rest of your guys' fucking day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with yet another banger of a video. Click that subscribe button. Also, check out the draft guide. Goodbye.